Have you ever judged someone before knowing their story? Sometimes, one small act of suspicion can change lives forever. But sometimes, kindness has a way of revealing the truth in the most unexpected moment. Today's story is about a woman who was treated like she didn't belong in her own neighborhood, and how one quiet decision changed everyone's heart. Stay with us until the very end, because this story isn't really about revenge. It's about compassion, forgiveness, and the incredible power of choosing kindness when you have every reason not to. Before we begin, if you enjoy emotional stories that remind us how powerful kindness can be, please like this video, subscribe to Heartline Stories, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories with people around the world. On a quiet Saturday morning in a peaceful neighborhood outside Atlanta, Maya Johnson walked slowly down her driveway carrying a box of flowers. She had spent the morning planting colorful roses in her front yard. She smiled as she admired the fresh blooms, hoping they would brighten the street for everyone. Maya had lived there for almost 3 years. She worked as a middle school art teacher and was known by her students for her gentle heart and endless patience. Every afternoon, neighborhood children would wave to her as they rode their bikes past her house. Not everyone welcomed her, though. Across the street lived Linda Harper. Linda watched nearly everything that happened on the block from behind her curtains. She often assumed the worst about people she barely knew. That morning, Linda noticed Maya carrying boxes from her garage to her car. "That doesn't look right," Linda whispered to herself. Without asking a single question, she picked up her phone and called the police. "I think someone is stealing from the Johnson house," she told the dispatcher. "The woman loading those boxes doesn't live there." Within minutes, 2 patrol officers arrived. Maya looked surprised as one officer approached. "Ma'am," he said politely, "we received a report about suspicious activity. Could we speak with you for a moment?" Maya remained calm. "Of course," she answered with a soft smile. "Is something wrong?" The officers explained the call. Instead of becoming angry, Maya quietly reached into her purse and showed them her driver's license with the matching address. She even laughed gently. "I guess moving flower pots can look suspicious," she said. The officers apologized immediately. "We're very sorry for the misunderstanding." "It's okay," Maya replied kindly. "You're just doing your job." Just then, another patrol car pulled up. Out stepped Chief David Johnson. The younger officers immediately stood a little straighter. "Chief," one officer said nervously, "we were responding to a suspicious person report." David looked toward Maya. "Honey, everything all right?" The officers suddenly realized the woman they had questioned was the chief's wife. Their faces turned bright red. "I'm sorry, Chief," one officer said. "We had no idea." David smiled calmly. "You treated my wife with respect." "That's exactly what I expect from every officer." Maya squeezed his hand. They were very professional. Across the street, Linda watched everything unfold. Her face turned pale as she realized who Maya's husband was. She quickly stepped back inside, embarrassed. The next morning, Linda expected someone to knock on her door with a warning or a complaint. No one came. Days passed. One afternoon, heavy rain flooded several streets in the neighborhood. Linda slipped while carrying groceries from her car. She twisted her ankle and fell into a puddle. Her grocery bags burst open, sending food rolling across the wet sidewalk. People drove past. No one stopped. Then Maya appeared with a large umbrella. "Oh my goodness," Maya said. "Are you hurt?" Linda looked ashamed. I'm all right." But she clearly wasn't. Without mentioning the police report, Maya helped her stand. She gathered every can, every apple, every loaf of bread, placing them carefully back into the bags. David arrived moments later after finishing work. Together, he and Maya carried the groceries inside Linda's house. Linda couldn't hold back her tears. "Why are you helping me?" she asked quietly. "I was awful to you." Maya smiled gently. "Because everyone deserves kindness, especially on their worst day." Linda lowered her head. I was wrong about you. I judged you without knowing you. I believed things that weren't true. I am so sorry. Maya placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. We all make mistakes. What matters is what we choose to do after we realize them. From that day forward, everything changed. Linda began introducing herself to neighbors she had never spoken to before. She baked cookies for the children playing outside. She volunteered at the local community center. Most importantly, she started listening instead of assuming. Months later, the neighborhood organized its annual block party. Families filled the street with music, laughter, and homemade food. Linda stood in front of everyone holding a microphone. I want to say something, she began. There was a time when I judged someone because of my own fears. She looked toward Maya. I made a terrible mistake. But the person I hurt responded with kindness instead of anger. She paused to wipe away a tear. Maya taught me that respect isn't earned by titles, uniforms, or appearances. It's given because every person deserves dignity. The crowd applauded warmly. David smiled proudly at his wife. Later that evening, several children gathered around Maya's flower garden. One little girl asked, "Why do you always plant so many flowers?" Maya smiled. Because you never know who might need something beautiful to see. The little girl thought for a moment. My mom says kindness is like planting seeds. Maya nodded. She's absolutely right. If you plant kindness today, someone else may grow hope tomorrow. As the sun slowly disappeared behind the trees, neighbors who had once barely spoken laughed together like old friends. The flowers Maya planted months before were now blooming brighter than ever. But they weren't the most beautiful thing on the street anymore. The kindness spreading from one heart to another had become something far more powerful. Sometimes people judge others because of fear, assumptions, or appearances. But kindness has a remarkable way of breaking down walls that anger never can. Maya could have chosen bitterness. She could have demanded an apology or embarrassed Linda in return. Instead, she chose grace. And because of that single choice, an entire neighborhood became stronger, friendlier, and more united. If this story touched your heart, remember that every person you meet is fighting a battle you may never see. Choose compassion before judgment. Choose understanding before assumptions. One simple act of kindness may change a life, including your own. Thank you for watching Heartline Stories. If this story inspired you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes kindness still matters. Until next time, keep spreading kindness wherever you go, because even the smallest act of love can create the biggest change.